find it so interesting how certain things come to you without you even trying. The raw vegan diet was one of those things that just came to me. Now, I did have it in my mind before, but before I had been a part of a raw vegan online community, and it was nice to know that there are a lot of people out there like I would like to be, but it didn't really convince me to go fully raw. What I actually did was just having the idea of it, and then it took a little bit of time, but it didn't take a lot of time. I would say maybe about a month. I kept considering how I would feel, and I did watch a few videos on like vegan documentaries, which I never had a problem staying vegan, but I did see how raw was more helpful to better health, and also how plant-based was a great choice, and also how that like affected the environment, and it did align on a few ideals that I had about how to treat animals and things like that. And I just let the information come to me, and I let the information pretty much decide or take over my identity. So I paid attention to the things that I actually felt about those issues. So when I would see certain things like the information in the documentaries and the success stories of some people that share their experience, whether it was weight loss maintenance, sometimes it was body image that I felt would be a great body image for myself as far as fitness, and also a lot of health profiles people seem to have that I felt like, yeah, I deserve that too. But I didn't try. I didn't go to the grocery store, like I've said in past videos, and just stock up on a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables to try to force it out of my system. There was a couple of things that I kind of was, I won't say addicted to, but it was a habit. And I didn't really care to close out that habit unnaturally or forcefully, right? By imposing a so-called extreme diet, right? And I always feel like extreme diet is just how you think of things, and how behaviorally or sometimes biologically, if you feel like you're addicted to a certain substance, or how the substance makes you feel, and then you no longer have that substance on a regular basis or in certain emotional times, to me that's extreme, but it's more mental, which is something. But yeah, just eating raw fruits, raw vegetables, raw nuts, raw seeds, raw sprouts, I didn't see the assault on my body. I didn't see any extreme blowback to go back to, let's say, a more unhealthy diet or omnivore diet. The part of that, again, that extreme part would be a positive, actually. I saw the extreme change in mood, the extreme change in health in a good way, through others at first. And through little challenges here and there, like 3-day challenges, 1-week challenges. I think I did it in the past for like about a month. But either way, I wanted to do this or see if I could sustain it, if not permanently, definitely like a full-time basis, right? So I choose to do it for a year, and I figured I can do that. I did something similar before, not as a diet, but I had an idea when I first started working that every time I was doing interviews, I used to get stopped in the interview process before I was hired, and basically saying I didn't have enough experience. Maybe I had 2 months, maybe I had 6 months, but they were always looking for a year. So I just decided, okay, I want to stay at this place for a year. I didn't know how I was going to do it because I had kind of identified with a personality that likes to be a little flighty, when it comes to different positions. I was searching. I really didn't know what I wanted. But I committed and I said, yeah, okay, I want to do this for a year. And I did it. And it was effortless when the year came up. You know, I had great coworkers. I liked, you know, the content of what I was doing. It was fun. I learned. And I got a feeling of stick-to-itiveness, you know. So, you know, going through the good and the bad or whatever and learning. And so I got that on my resume. And I have much better experiences with getting jobs, right? So I did it. So I told myself that I achieved it once, I'll achieve it again. This time with diet. So I had it in my mind that I would love to do that. Again, educating myself, looking at videos, looking at documentaries, looking at so many other kind people that shared their experience in their extreme makeovers, if I could say that, mostly to their health profile, but even sometimes to their mental health, not just, you know, their physical overcoming illnesses and diseases, and decided that was for me. Now, once I started eating raw, because I already had raw fruits and vegetables, it's not like, you know, I was void of that. I am plant-based, at least up to 8 years at that point. But I just started getting a little bit more at a time because my mind shifted. And I don't know if it was implied on purpose, but a mantra came to me. And I just kept repeating this mantra that I deserve it. So anytime I would reach for a couple of the comforts that I won't say couldn't get over, but they were a very regular habit with me. It was movie popcorn that my partner always brought back after he went to the movies. And was it rice or it was bread for sure. So bread, movie popcorn, maybe the occasional plant-based pizza. And yes, I knew I had to cut that out. And because mostly I knew it was emotional. I was resting on it in like key times of the month, to be clear. So I'm like, okay, I'm not eliminating, perhaps even some raw vegans said that they do. I'm not eliminating quick, fast, in a hurry that time of the month. So I have to make sure I have that type of emotional support, that kind of maybe biological support. I have to get my nutrients, and I have to remind myself mentally that to not be extremely stressed, so I won't have to grab these quick foods, these quote unquote comfort foods that I had gotten used to, that really wreaked havoc on my health. But once I decided, again, the mantra came, and it was my responsibility, but it was very easy to continue it. And I continued to tell myself, you deserve this. Don't you deserve it for at least a year to try? Don't you owe it to yourself? These were the mantras that came to me. And I'm telling you, every single time I would glance at something, and it was not even longingly, because I was really so into the results for myself. I wanted it. I've been modeling it in my mind for some time. It doesn't take long either. Give me an intense feeling to change. And your physical can help you out with that too. I'm not saying wait till you get some type of doctor diagnosis, but sometimes for a lot of people, that's the kick in their ass that they really need to really start to shift and do something different with their diet. But I didn't need that. I had a few aches and pains. I had periods that I wanted to play with and either eliminate or completely reduce pain and flow, which it has. I wanted to approach food differently, which I was able to. I started looking at food as a blessing, not just a drug like punch in case of emergency. And that just meant any anxious feelings, any feelings of lack in any other area. Let me just stuff myself and fill myself up with cheap stuff. You know, I started looking at myself like I was a vehicle. A body was a vehicle, a luxury vehicle that I wanted to treat well. And even now, that makes me smile. So that just shows you my mind changed. I changed my mind purposefully to allow myself to actually believe that a diet such as a raw vegan diet was for me, and this lifestyle is for me. And I also began to work out more. I've been active since I was a child, dance, gymnastics, different types of sports. But you have that moment where you don't do a lot, you know, those years. And I chose to, because of those feelings, it kind of just naturally led me to working out consistently. So yeah, I started working out consistently, started walking consistently. Appetite went down, so I didn't have as such feeling like out of control type hormonal hunger. And yeah, so that just naturally, it changed. I felt like I transformed mentally first, and then the physical followed. And if this seems like something that you would like to do for yourself, being raw vegan for any amount of time, to see if you can change some things in your life, specifically with your health, I would say information is in the description, and we can do a one-on-one. Now, if you're worried about the nutrients that, you know, some people try to scare you with when they say, oh, you go plant-based, oh, you know, they're low on this, they're low on that. If you're afraid about that, I do have this ebook, and you can download that for free. And that's going to give you all of the essential nutrients that you would need on this particular diet, okay? And just let it be a regimen. Don't look at it like, okay, this has to be a permanent change. It doesn't have to be a permanent change, just for now. Right now, you're just going to equip yourself with the nutrients you need, because you may be new to this. You may even be new to a plant-based diet. And you're going to allow yourself to get that download, get those nutrients, and take those nutrients so you know when any voice gets in your head or anyone starts to speak, you know that you're deteriorating, because you may have moments of weakness or you may lose weight, and you don't want those negative thoughts, which are not true, but you know, everyone's different, but they're generally not true. So I have all of the nutrients that you can get. I chose the best ones I take myself, and so you don't have to worry about just that if you're lacking any nutrients. You have the nutrients, okay? So anything other than that, it can be a learning curve, okay? How many tomatoes, how many purple fruits, veggies, how many greens you should have a day, you know, that would be like a secondary thing for you to consider, okay? You won't have to like freak out about anything like that. So yeah, so take that first step. So you can find it in the description of the video, and yeah, just download that. And again, if you need anything or any deeper talks, or you want to know even deeper about my experiences that I won't share here for personal reasons, and you really want to go deep and you don't want to share in the comments for personal reasons, then schedule a one-on-one with me. Again, the info is in the description, and I will see you again for another important video. And I know that you can accomplish your dreams. If you're already called to this channel, then I feel like this diet is for you. And yeah, I'll just see you on the other side, and I wish you guys luck. Bye.